Although my mind is the Buddha, I don't recognize it. Although my thinking is ultimate reality, I don't realize it. Although non-fabrication is the innate, I fail to sustain it. Although naturalness is the basic state, I'm not convinced. Guru, think of me. Quickly look upon me with compassion. Bless me so that natural awareness is liberated into itself. We need to understand what mind essentially is. As I have often said, in this world, mind is the most important, for the simple reason that it is mind that understands and experiences. Besides mind, nothing else perceives anything. The five outer elements of earth, water, fire, wind, and space, do they feel anything? In truth, there is nothing other than mind that experiences. The whole universe is made out of the five major elements, which in themselves are insensate. They don't know anything. Likewise, the physical bodies of sentient beings are made out of the five minor elements. In their properties, the bone and flesh are the same as the element of earth. Blood and the other liquids resemble the element of water. The heat of our body is essentially the same as fire. Our breath is wind. While the vacuities in the body, the different openings and hollow places and so on, are in essence the same as space. These five elements don't experience, they don't perceive anything whatsoever. Unless there is a mind in that body, the body itself doesn't feel anything. The outer major elements and the innermost elements are also similar in structure. Our body, with its flesh and bones, can be compared to the surface of this earth with its soil and rocks. The greenery and shrubs growing on the hillside can be likened to our pores and small hairs. There are forests outside, and we have hair growing on our heads. Whenever you dig into the ground, you usually find water at some point. Similarly, if we ever make a hole in our body, some liquid will start pouring out. The heat of our body has the same property as heat found anywhere else outside. The wind that moves through our lungs is the same as the wind or air outside. The vacuities or openings are the same as empty space. There is a very strong resemblance between the inner and outer elements. In a sense, they are identical, in that the elements by themselves do not perceive. We also have five senses, five sense doors: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, with its ability to perceive texture through touch. However, these five senses really don't experience anything in themselves. If there is not a mind or consciousness connected with the five senses, the sense organs by themselves do not experience. A corpse, a dead body, has eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. But if you show something to a corpse, even if the eyes are open, it doesn't see anything. Nor does it perceive sound. A corpse has no ability to smell or taste, and if you press the body, it doesn't feel the touch either. Then there are the five sense objects, the impressions we get of physical forms seen through the eyes, sounds heard through the ears, the different flavors we can taste by means of the tongue, the fragrances sensed through the nose, and the textures we can feel through the body. These objects of the five senses are also not cognizant. They don't experience anything at all. Unless there is a mind to perceive them, the objects by themselves don't perceive. A sentient being is basically made out of nothing other than mind. Apart from this mind, no thing in this world experiences anything at all. Without mind, this world would be utterly empty. There would be nothing known, nothing experienced. Matter would exist, of course, but matter doesn't know anything. It is totally empty of consciousness. In this world, nothing is more essential than mind, except for one thing, the nature of this mind. Buddha nature, Sugatagarbha. All sentient beings, without a single exception, have this nature. This Buddha nature is present in everyone, from the Dharmakaya Buddha Samantabhadra down to the tiniest insect. Even the smallest entities you can only see through a microscope. In all of these beings, the Buddha nature is identical. There is no difference in size or quality, not at all. Buddha nature never differs in terms of quality or quantity. It is not like Samantabhadra, the great Buddha, has a large Buddha nature and a small insect has a small one, or that the Buddha has a superior Buddha nature and a fly an inferior one. There is no difference at all. So we need to distinguish between mind and mind essence. The mind essence of sentient beings and the awakened mind of Buddhas is the same. Buddhahood means being totally stable in the state before dualistic thought occurs. A sentient being like ourselves, not realizing our essence, gets caught up in our own thinking and becomes bewildered. Still, the essence of our mind and the very essence of all awakened Buddhas is primordially the same. Sentient beings and Buddhas have an identical source, the Buddha nature. Buddhas became awakened because of realizing their essence. Sentient beings became confused because of not realizing their essence. Thus, there is one basis or ground and two different paths. Mind is that which thinks and remembers and plans all these different thoughts that we have. Thought in Tibetan is called nam tak. Nam means the object, what is thought of. Tak means to make ideas and concepts about those objects. Nam tak is something that mind churns out incessantly, day and night. A Buddha is someone who has recognized the essence itself and is awakened through that. A sentient being is someone who has not and who is confused by his or her own thinking. Someone who has failed to recognize the essence of mind is called a sentient being. Someone who has realized the nature itself and become stable in that realization is called a Buddha. You're safe now, Ashton. And that's why the path is all about waking up. You know, it's not about the content of any dream. It's our capacity to wake up. anything, everything. Every point of contact can be a point of waking up. That means to go beyond and to be before conceptual thinking. Isn't it true that this mind here thinks a lot? It plans, it remembers, it thinks, it worries. It has been doing so for countless lifetimes, day and night, without stop. Moment by moment, this mind is creating thoughts of one thing after another. And not just during this lifetime. Thinking takes place because of not seeing the essence of this mind itself. It thinks of something, makes thoughts and emotions about it. The process goes on and on. It is like beads on an endless string, life after life in endless succession. This is called samsara, the world of suffering, the hollow sphere of suffering. It is the thinking that perpetuates samsara. Samsara will go on endlessly unless the thinking stops. As I mentioned many times before, mind is not a thing that has physical form, sound, smell, taste, or texture. Mind is empty. Space is also empty. No matter where you go in space, there is no limit, no boundary, no edge. If you were to travel in a spaceship in a single direction for 100 billion years, you would not reach the end of space. Even if you go all the way through the Earth and come out the other side, you would not find the bottom of space. And were you to travel another 100 billion years, you still wouldn't find the bottom anywhere. It is the same with the other directions. You can travel forever, and you will still never reach a place where space ends. Now, how can something without limits have a center? It can't, can it? That is why it is taught that space has no center and no edge. Remember that our mind is like space, and you can consider your mind like your your true ego, your essence, right? So your true essence doesn't have a center. It doesn't have a point to reference as being, this is me, this is mine, this is I. The Buddha used space to point at how mind is. He said that mind is empty like space. Just as space has no limits in any direction, mind has no center or edge. As a matter of fact, wherever there is space, mind is present. And Buddha taught that throughout space, wherever space reaches, there are sentient beings. And wherever there are sentient beings, there are disturbing emotions and the creation of karma. And wherever there is the creation of disturbing emotion and karma, there is also Buddha nature. The awakened mind of the Buddhas is all pervasive. In short, the nature of this mind is empty in essence. It is like space. Because it has no form, no smell, no taste, sound, or texture, it is completely empty. It always was, primordially. In being empty, mind seems like space. But there is a difference. Space is not conscious. It doesn't feel pleasure or pain. Our mind is spacious, wide open and empty, yet it still feels pleasure and pain. It is sometimes called the ever-knowing, ever-conscious mind. Whatever is present is known by mind. When this mind is put to work, it can invent any possible thing, even nuclear bombs. Mind creates all these amazing gadgets, voice recorders, airplanes that can fly through the sky. These inventions don't think, but they were created by the thinking mind. Sentient beings create the samsara that we have right now. The creation of samsara will not ultimately help us in any way. You can also see this, the world of conceptual thought. The creation of the world of conceptual thought will not ultimately help us in any way. Mind is invisible and intangible. You can also say the source or the truth or the real reality, the primordial reality is invisible and intangible. That is why people don't know it. That is why they wonder, have I really recognized this nature of mind? If it were a concrete thing, scientists would have figured it out a long time ago, but it isn't. So scientists don't necessarily know what the mind is. If they did, all scientists would be enlightened. But have you ever heard of scientists becoming enlightened through science? Sure, they know a lot of other things. They can make telephones that let you instantly talk to anybody anywhere in the world. And they can make machinery that flies hundreds of people together through the sky. They can drive trains directly through mountains. All this is possible. If mind is put to work, it is an inexhaustible treasure, but that still doesn't mean enlightenment. When the mind is put to use for something and gets caught up in it, this does not lead to enlightenment. We need to know the essential nature of mind. So this is the essential point and the essential encouragement on non-effort. Our practice not being a way of striving or seeking, but a way of opening to space, opening to spaciousness. As we are these normal human beings, we're always looking for something, always seeking for something or someone or some way to work out what's going on. And that can sometimes lead to these incredible creations, but it also keeps us trapped in this world of confusion. And so in waking up from our nightmare, waking up from our suffering, it's not about figuring it out. It's about going to the place or returning to the way before figuring, before conceptual thought, before trying to solve. My advice for those with brain cancer, my advice for those waking up from a terrible nightmare is to dissolve thinking through the Dhamma. To see your mind essence, to meet yourself, to meet who you truly are. And as I've said many times on this channel, we all have brain cancer. We all have a terminal illness. It's just that some of us know that and some of us don't. And so in Buddhism, this is called a holy messenger event. Getting brain cancer, getting in a major car accident, the death of a loved one. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to begin to look deeply and to start the work of seeing your nature, or rather to stop working and be before conceptual thought, and stop allowing conceptual thought to continuously take root and create these fruits of suffering. But it's not just you. Everybody who's watching this video right now has brain cancer. What does that mean? It means everybody who is here is going to die, and they have no idea when they are going to die. A simple cut, a simple scrape could become infected, and you could die. Or you could find out that you have brain cancer even though you don't know it yet. You have a tumor, etc. Completely normal. Yeah, we need a message to see. If we don't know the way, we can only get there by someone pointing it out to us. If you're looking at a poison plant, or what appears to be a poison plant, or what appears to be a delicious fruit, and you don't know what it is, you need someone to point it out. Of course, you can try it, you can die, you can get sick. We can learn to a certain degree through trial and error, but the immediacy of pointing out the way that it is the most important. Robert, I practiced meditation seriously. I sacrificed my life to become a monk. I sacrificed my life to join meditation retreats and seek out masters of the mind, Buddhist monks, Buddhist meditation masters. And I continue to dare and to be willing to give up my life. There's no such thing as death. Creating or drawing a duality between life and death is as realistic as drawing a duality between the sun and the moon. or hot and cold, or good and bad, or left and right. So this is like a direction, this is a directionless truth. And to see that for oneself. Okay, okay, I come. Yeah. This is not about belief. This is about ending belief. This is not about conceptual thought. This is about that which is before conceptual thought arises. This is not about this or that. This is about beyond duality, beyond dualisms. This is about ending belief. This is about ending or resolving conceptual thought. This is about already being beyond good or bad or right or wrong. And seeing that for oneself, recognizing that for oneself. Recognizing that which does not depend on direction. This is concerned with the nature, the way that it is, not a way that it appears to be. So this is not about that appearance versus this appearance, blue color versus green color. This is colorless. It's not about this thought or that thought. This is thoughtless. And if you can't access thoughtlessness, which is just a kind of internal confusion, because just as much as we think, we don't think. So if you can't access that thoughtlessness, think about not thinking. Practice to think about not thinking. When it's raining, it's raining. When it's not raining, it's not raining. There's no statistics in the universe. Statistics are just cheap tricks. How often are you going to be alive? How much longer are you going to be alive? You have no idea. But what you do know is that you've already been born. So what's next? You don't know when or where or how it's going to happen, but it is going to happen. And when it does happen, it's going to happen instantaneously, spontaneously. It's going to happen in a way that doesn't depend on your conceptual thought about your own life. You can't protect yourself from death in the same way that you can't protect yourself from truth. But you can try to avoid it, but that avoidance is just wasted energy, just confusion. You let go as if it was never there, and what you find out happens naturally. Do you see something more clearly by squinting at it or by trying to look hard at it? Do you hear better when you try to hear? No. Seeing happens naturally. Hearing happens naturally. Meditation should and will, and that's how to practice it correctly, naturally. You try to take a bath? No, you just take a bath. You may think that you're trying, like when you wake up. You try to wake up? No, you just wake up. If you try to wake up in a dream, you can't, but waking up happens. So this is concerned with taking you out of the equation, and the last thing that you want to do. You don't want to die, and yet you will. Relax and listen. Relax and breathe and listen. Stop trying to do something. Stop trying to stop doing something. Just relax and listen. You're not relaxing and listening if you start saying, what am I listening to? You're just talking. You're just adding things on unnecessarily. Just relax and listen. Hearing isn't about hearing something. Seeing isn't about seeing something. Is it? Of course not. The ego may make it seem that way. Conceptual thinking may make it seem that way. that our seeing is about seeing some particular thing, but seeing is just seeing. Seeing doesn't depend on conceptual thought. You just see it. Stop trying to stop yourself. Stop trying to control what's happening. Why does it matter so much if you're moving? The movement is not you're moving. The movement is in you making a judgment about the movement, about the moving. Movement stops on its own. Your heart beats on its own. Your eyes see on their own. Your ears hear on their own. Stop being so involved. Just let seeing happen. Just let hearing happen. Just let breathing happen. Or as they say, let sleeping dogs lie. Your suffering wants you to stay involved. Your conceptual thinking wants you to stay involved. But if you can go to sleep at night, you have plenty of time to be uninvolved. If you're so attached to conceptual thinking, it makes it all the more important to practice uninvolvement, to practice stepping back, especially for political situations, social justice situations, etc. The reason that progress is so slow and fractured in social justice movements is because people lack the capacity to step back and to practice uninvolvement. So they can't recover, they can't recuperate. What will it be like if you can't go to sleep for one night? How are you going to manage your responsibilities? So practicing meditation is like going to sleep when we're awake. And if you get really skillful and proficient at meditation, you can be asleep all day long. It's like sleeping while awake. It's not about understanding something. It's about letting go of understanding. It's about letting go of being the position, holding the position of being the understander, letting go of the position of being right. And at the same time, you will let go of the position of being wrong. Then you can make real change, deep change, systems change. If we don't emphasize or prioritize to change our internal system, then our capacity to change external systems um, is very limited. We can listen to some poetry from a famous monk Stonehouse that he really lived this mindset, this way of being. The sunrise in the east, the sunset in the west, the bell at dusk, the rooster at dawn. The flux of yin and yang has turned my head to snow. Over the years, I've emptied 100 crocks of pickles. I plant pines for beams where I find room. I spit out peach pits and make a peach tree trail. This is for the bow-weary birds in the world. Head for the mountains and choose any tree. There isn't much time in this fleeting life. Why spend it running in circles? When my kitchen is bare, I go look for yams. When my robe needs a patch, I consider lotus leaves. I've put down the elk tail and stopped giving sermons. My long-forgotten sutras are home to silverfish. I pity those who wear a monk's robe, whose goals and attachments keep them busy. Followers of the way are done with reason. Wherever they look is the light of the mind. Somewhere peach trees are blooming, their petals perfume the stream. Deep grass is bliss for a snake. Sunshine is butterfly heaven. I heard a woodcutter mention a lean-to in the clouds. Most of the time I smile. Old men can take it easy. Not a care in mind. Nothing but mountains before my eyes. The pang soars into the sky. The leopard blends with the frog. I am more like the flowering plum, waiting for the year-end cold. So we go back, we return again. Followers of the way are done with reason. Followers of the way are done with understanding things. Followers of the way are done with trying to understand things. Wherever they look is the light of the mind. Somewhere, peach trees are blooming. Their petals perfume the stream. Deep grass is bliss for a snake. Sunshine is butterfly heaven. I heard a woodcutter mention a lean-to in the clouds. Listen to the silence in your heart. Reasoning comes to an end. A thought breaks in the middle. All day, nothing but time. Undisturbed all year. On deserted mountains, clouds come and go. In the clear sky, the moon is a lonesome O. Even if yoga or alchemy worked, it wouldn't match knowing Zen. So this then is the knowing of unknowing, the understanding of not understanding, the seeing of no seeing, the hearing of no hearing, the fullness of emptiness. A winding, muddy trail, a hedge of purple hibiscus, a paper window bamboo hut, stove-blackened pines, a simple place where cares disappear, quiet, untroubled days. Who can be like me, free of work and effort? Where did that gust come from, whistling across the sky, shaking the trees in the forest, blowing open my bamboo door without any arms or legs? How does it come and go? My attempts to track it down have failed. From the cliffs, a tiger roars. There's nowhere I'd rather be than here. There's no greater effort than no effort, letting all seeking come to an end naturally. From the very top of Shui Wushan Mountain, my hut peers through the clouds. Cool in summer, beside bamboo. Warm in winter, facing the sun. Cocoon paper clothes feel soft. Mountain-grown rice smells sweet. I live on what life brings. Nothing else is worth my time.
Một con một. Vàng của con sư. Đó nữa con vàng.
Thank you. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Đi vô cho hết mẹ 20.000 xăng.
This mind thinks, but its root is thoughtless. So we stay close to the root, not by struggling or striving, but by being natural.
Ủa cho bà 4.000 đưa 800 lẻ.
Giữ cái tao cộng lộn hả?
Cho bà cộng lại đó.
Có lộn không?
Cộng cho bà coi. Đây tao cộng cho bà coi nè.
Natural and gentle together with everything that is already here. Not seeking after trying to get more from life, but being at peace, being content, being balanced and aware with what life brings.
Đưa 200 tiền lẻ, cũng dám đưa tiền lẻ để tao thối nữa.
Thấy là từ ngày 20 đến 4 hả?
Sáng chở cho chị mấy thùng nước, một thùng nước ao, hai thùng nước number one, với hai thùng nước la vi nè.
Hai la vi, hai quanh nhỏ đúng không?
Be like a dog, be like a cat,
Có gì bà nhắc luôn, bà
be
chở
like
cho
a
bà
butterfly.
Với một thùng súp nhiêu á?
vậy 35.
Cái thùng chờ thùng
Just being, just
hai
sniffing,
thùng nước la vi với hai thùng nước
just sitting, just standing, just laying.
number one, tìm thùng mẹ bắn đẹp.
Whatever it is, let it be just that.
Number one á, nước khoáng number one. Cái thùng nước
Cái nước mà bên rẻ tiền hả?
ừ.
400.000 rồi. Bà kêu tao ấy đừng nhìn gái nhìn bả, mày nghĩ
Nó
tao
la
bà
nó
sống
về,
chết mẹ
lúc
luôn
nó la nó
nhìn
về,
bả.
lúc nó la nó không về.
Không, bữa nay là lâm sư rồi á, không có kêu thằng này thằng kia đâu được nữa đâu á. Không có được. Anh sư. Nghe lâm sư rồi á, kêu ở đàng hoàng. Sư. Kêu mà bậy bậy giỡn bên trời á, dù biết giỡn bên trời. Ồ, đây đây. Đây rồi. Gái mẫu rồi. Không.
To recognize is the path of nirvana. Not to recognize is the path of samsara. When ordinary people see an object, for instance, a rosary, mala beads, they think, this is a rosary. Next, they wonder, are there 100 beads? Where is it made? Maybe in China or maybe India. I don't know. It will be one thought after the other. This conceptualizing an object is nam tak, thinking about subject-object appearances. The object is the rosary, and all the ideas we have about it are the concepts. It is yellow, it is Indian, maybe it is Chinese, I like it, it is quite neat. One thought continues after another. For the ordinary person, there is the object observed, the rosary. The subject is the mind, that which knows. A yogi practitioner, a meditator, a person on the path, on the other hand, does not dwell on the object, but recognizes the nature of the subject, the nature of the mind, the nature of the awareness. Recognize your mind. Recognize awareness. And in the absence of any concrete thing, rest loosely. After a while, we again get caught up in thoughts. But by recognizing again and again, we grow more and more used to the natural state. It's like learning something by heart. After a while, you don't need to think about it. Through this process, our thought involvement grows weaker and weaker. The gap between thoughts begins to last longer and longer. At a certain point, for half an hour, there will be a stretch of no conceptual thought whatsoever, without having to suppress the thinking. Recognize your mind. Recognize awareness. And in the absence of any concrete thing, rest loosely. After a while, we again get caught up in thoughts. But by recognizing again and again, we grow more and more used to the natural state. It is like learning something by heart. The essence of mind that is primordially empty and rootless is unlike holding the idea of emptiness in mind. And it is not the same as the sustained attempt to feel empty. Neither of these helps much. By growing used to this natural, original emptiness again and again, we become accustomed to it. Then there will be a stretch throughout the whole day from morning to evening, which is only empty awareness, untainted by notions of perceived objects or the perceiving mind. This corresponds to having attained the bodhisattva levels of enlightenment, the bhumis. When there is never a break throughout day and night, that is called Buddhahood, true and complete enlightenment. From the perspective of mind essence, the interruptions of thoughts are like clouds in the sky. The empty essence itself is like the space of the sky. Our cognizance is like sunshine. The sky itself never changes, whether it's sunny or cloudy. Similarly, when you realize the awakened state of the Buddhas, all cloud-like thoughts have vanished. But the qualities of wisdom, meaning original wakefulness, are fully developed, fully present, even now when thoughts are present. We need to train in slowly growing more and more used to the recognition of mind essence. This will dissolve our negative karma and disturbing emotions. In this recognition, it is impossible to be tainted by karma and emotions, just like mid-air cannot be painted. I would like to give you a famous quote from the Hevajra Tantra. All sentient beings are Buddhas, but they are covered by temporary obscurations. This temporary obscuration is our own thinking. If we didn't already have the Buddha nature, meaning a nature that is identical to that of all awakened ones, then no matter how much we tried, we would never be enlightened. The Buddha used the example of churning milk into butter. Sentient beings contain within themselves the butter-yielding milk, in the sense of this basic material of enlightenment. It is not like we are water. You could churn water for 1,000,000,000 years and still never get butter from it. All sentient beings, you and me and everyone, have the essence of Buddhahood within themselves. But if you ignore this most precious essence inside yourself, you will continue spinning around in the 3 painful realms of samsara. So, dear friends, that's the end of our session for now. Take care of yourselves and be diligent to remember, to recognize, to release, to relax, whole body and mind, to just be thoughtlessly aware. See you soon.